What's up, everybody? Welcome to Metal Remains Backstage. I am Carlos in New York City. As always, with me is Manuel in Madrid. And today with us, we have Britta Görtz from the melodic death metal band Hiraes. Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome to Metal Remains. We are so happy to chat with you today. How is your day going so far?
Oh, I'm having a pretty normal day, I would say. So nothing out of the ordinary. I am a full-time scream coach, so I have like 6 or 7 students today. Finished that and just am in an interview cycle now. And I'm very grateful to be promoting the next Hiraes album. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, it's winter here in Germany. I live in Hanover, and yeah, I'm fine. I have a good day so far.
All right, great. You are an artist, but we believe you also consume art, more specifically, art in the form of music. So, in that regard, can you tell us what you have been listening to lately?
I really listen to all kind of stuff. Like I kind of gave up on being limited in genres or something like that. There are 2 genres for me that exist, stuff that I like and stuff that I don't like. And I try to not get held up with things that I don't like too much. So like this, I think the whole for like 2 years or now, like I really have enjoyed a lot of deathcore, and with Lorna Shore being one of my favorite deathcore bands, and them just having toured through Europe and also to my hometown Hanover. I still have them rotating on my playlist a lot, but yeah, I also listen to like non-metal stuff. Like for example, like I'm a huge fan of Billie Eilish's work. Which she's doing. I love that. I also have a king for 70s disco music. So you can imagine my gym workout routine where it's going straight from Lorna Shore to some disco tracks. It's a wild ride.
It makes a lot of sense, especially listening to your latest record. It's been so surprising for us, this brutal sound that it has. And listening to deathcore, which I love personally, we notice a lot of violence coming straight from your lungs. So is that something that inspires you?
I mean, not in a sense that I would be very aware of, but I think inspiration is something just like the air we all breathe. So like you never know where inspiration comes from and what reflects on your artistic work in such a sense. So I'm a person. I live in my environment, and everything is probably kind of mingled together into my songs. But as a person who has sung harsh vocals for over 20 years now, I think deathcore is a genre that is so colorful when it comes to the sounds that people use in an artistic way that it's just kind of so much fun to explore that. And so like, yeah, I go total nerd on that. And I try myself. So, and then it's kind of sneaks into the music.
Right, right. As Manuel was saying, we recently discovered your music and we connect with it and enjoy it. But before we start digging into all the details about your upcoming album, can you help us to understand the meaning of the band name?
Hiraes is like it kind of comes from a Welsh word that is called Hiraeth with a TH in the end, and it means something along the lines of nostalgia or yearning. And so when I don't know, we played around with many band names when we found our band name, and I think it was Ollie, our guitarist, who came up with that word, and it immediately kind of like clicked more than all the other ideas that we had. And so we didn't want to go with the original version, how you write it. It's probably complicated enough to figure out how you pronounce it. So we kind of simplified it a little bit, and there it was. Hiraes was born, and I think it's a very a good topic for Hiraes songs, because like a yearning for something can be so different. Whatever you're yearning for, you go for that. So yeah, we're all very happy with our band name still.
Right.
It's a very
Right.
cool
It
one.
can cover a lot of different areas. Dormant is the sophomore upcoming album from the band. It's set for release on January 26, 2024 via Napalm Records. We are a month away from that. In your opinion, how different is this second offering from its predecessor?
Well, I would say a couple of things might be like have evolved pretty naturally. When we wrote Solitary, we couldn't meet. It was at the peak of the pandemic when we released it, and we weren't even sure if or not we could ever play these songs. You know, we didn't know how would this end? When would it end? Would it ever end? And so the album Solitary was completely written over with the help of the internet and sending files back and forth, and without being on the road together. So after that, okay, we could play, and we played many shows over the course of the last 2 years. And I think Dormant kind of grabs that live energy that we share with our fans, and you can really hear that on the album. The songs on Dormant scream live show and are a little denser. So I think we were kind of able to take this live energy and condense it into our songs that we haven't had the chance to on the predecessor.
Some differences that I notice is that on Dorman, I hear clean vocals from your part. And I also notice, and I don't know what is the technical term for this, we call it something like pig squeals, but it's this high pitch scream that is not like a growl, it's something else.
It's like
How do you call that?
Inspiration, very low growl.
It's a pig squeal, yeah. I mean, like I've been doing pig squeals for a very long time now, but on Solitary, I didn't think they fit. I had a lot of fun in another band that I once had called Critical Mass, where we played some old school death metal, and there were pig squeals all over the place. But I kind of like. They kind of slip out here and there live when I feel just like very energetic and I'm in a joyful mood, and the guys love it. And I didn't think that they loved it. I thought it would never fit to Hiraes, but then so okay, go ahead with your pig squeals. Yeah, bring them on. And then I did some pig squeals.
They fit real good.
So now everybody knows when Britta is doing pig squeals is because she's very happy at that moment.
Yeah. It's a sound of happy breathe.
Nice. Is there a song from the upcoming album that has a special meaning or bond with you?
Actually, like it's all pretty close by, all the lyrics that I wrote. But there are a couple of songs that maybe stand out. So I would say Chance to Fail is a very special song to me, because I have a dear friend who's living in Iran, and she also would love to be a metal musician, but she can't because her regime would put her in jail and do very bad things to her. And so at one point we were talking online, and she was just like telling me that like she would just love her chance to fail, not even her chance to succeed, but to just be able to try out and to fulfill what she feels like she wants to do, and she can't. And that hit hard. It really hit me in a different spot, and I kind of like through talking with her and everything that happened in her country over the last year and a half was very. I was very touched by that, and knowing someone who lives in that scenario just made it feel just like super close. So I kind of like wove that into that a little bit, and that makes the song really special. And I would also say Undercurrent is a very special song to me. It has one of the few clean lyrics in it that you just mentioned, which is also a song about to like letting go of a relationship that is not right. And I wrote it in the time where the letting go happened, and so it was a very, from an artistic standpoint, a very there was nothing in between my emotions and the lyrics when I wrote it. So it's not written from a distance. It's as close as you can write something like that, and so that makes the song for me very, very goosebumpy.
Personal.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, those are deep things you are mentioning, very deep topics, and I hope you let your friend know that song it's about what is going on in the environment. I think that's gonna help her somehow to, I don't know, feel identified with the metal community and all that, hopefully.
Yeah, it's kind of my way of hugging her because we can't meet in person. So yeah, I hope she feels that. I'm pretty sure she feels that.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that. We saw the video for the great single We Owe No One, and we understand this was your own vision. So we were hoping you could tell us now, how was the process of making the video and bringing to life your concept and ideas for it?
Chaotic and full of anarchy.
Okay.
No, seriously. I mean, we worked with a great team of like the video producers and the camera guys, and we knew them from the work on a video for Eyes Over Black. And we shot all 3 videos, including the unreleased video for the next single. We shot them in like 3.5 days. And days can be very long when you make videos. So we had like 17-hour shooting times and whatnot. And since we shot all the videos in the same room or like in hall environment, I wanted to make sure that every video looks very, very different. Mm-hmm. And so instead of just like going ahead with one video at a time and thinking of how do we want it to look, we kind of sat down and made the storyboards for all 3 of the videos. And it turned out it was kind of my main drive at that time to push forward the video production. And so we spun our ideas. I spun my ideas with the video guys, and they loved the ideas, and also these kind of like little AI animations going on that we kind of interact with, or that morph into us and back out, and played around with that. And I think that the whole Through the Storm was like so colorful and bright and like stormy and everything, and all full of motion. And then Alone, this perspective from We Owe No One, where it's like a centralized perspective and all very symmetric, kind of gives it a whole different vibe. And I love that. The singles that we picked for us mark the cornerstone of the album Dormant. And I think the video just underline that we kind of span some room there, some room for to give people an idea of who is Hiraes.
With Through the Storm, I liked a lot the visual of this like stream. It looks like fire, but it isn't fire. It's more like some sort of ribbon that's coming with the wind. What is it exactly? Because it to me, it struck me like something very unique. I never saw that in any other band, and immediately made me identify you from the very thumbnail of the video. So that was a very good idea, but what is it?
It's ribbon. I mean, like it came from an idea that I had like a couple days before the video shoot, and I said that might actually be a really great idea. We had like industrial fans blowing up, and like they are so strong that if you look down, you get like in your cheeks. So you had to be sure like to always keep a straight face and not have these like wavy things going on. And I was just like, this will look so good if we just put some ribbon, it's ripped textile. It's like a large, like a sheet.
Like a strip or
Yeah, we just ripped it apart, and then we knotted it onto the surface of the industrial fan. And my initial idea was to film from upside down. So I wanted to look up into these things, but it didn't look good. And then all of a sudden, like our videographer said, it looks like you're flying when I just point the camera at you. And I was moving around a little bit, and I looked at it, and it was like so iconic, and I thought, I have never seen this anywhere else. And now you saying that, that's so cool. Yeah, it's actually just like ripped textile into stripes that that you can find there. And we have like for the record Dormant, we have a limited fan box set. We kept the ribbons, and every box set will have an original piece of ribbon to just make a little personal. So like,
that's great.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know. Yeah, it's like a really cheap ripped sheet.
But it was a great idea. We love it.
Oh, that makes me happy. Thank you.
Now, what are the touring plans in support of the new album in 2024?
So far, we have a busy spring, and we're really excited that we don't just have a release concert. We have a little release tour that spans 6 shows in Germany. That's from January 26th on. And then a little later, we will support a part of the European tour of the Czech band Dimitri, which we also look forward to. They're also going to put out a new record, and so we're going to be on tour with them a little while. So, and again, slowly festivals are coming in, and we hope for a busy summer.
Awesome. That's what I love about Europe, that you have the summer festival seasons, and then a band releasing an album. If they have the opportunity, they just go to multiple countries, multiple cities, jumping from one festival to the next. That's something I don't know why we don't have here in the US. I mean, there are festivals, but they're kind of, I don't know, so different from the festivals from Europe. Yeah, they are different for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of feel like I kind of feel spoiled with that because I like of all the countries, like Germany has so many of the big metal festivals. Like, I mean, to Wacken, I probably like, depending on traffic, but it probably takes me like 1 hour and 20 minutes to go there.
It took us 10 years to get to Wacken, but that's a different story.
Yes. All right. Britta, to wrap up this chat, can you share with us one of your favorite backstage stories? It doesn't matter if it's a good or a bad one. One of your favorite ones.
One of my favorite backstage stories. Let me think about that for a couple seconds. Does it have to be a Hiraes story? Yeah, probably.
Not really. Just any experience on a backstage will work for us.
On backstage, well, I'm really bad at just like, you ask me something like that, and then I find it hidden in the back of my mind.
Later today, washing the dishes.
Okay.
I got it.
I tell you something. About our. I hope they are not mad at me, but I'm going to tell it anyway. We were on tour with a very, very great band Belacor from Australia. We toured with them in August, and we had a hell of a fun. So at this one time, like usually they were on the venue like right on time. Like they never were late. Most of the time they were there before us. But on this one day they were running late, and we were wondering like, did anything happen? I mean, like they had a long travel day. I think from France. So they were hours late. And like when we asked them what happened, like I will not say who it was, but one of the band members were standing there just like laughing a little bit, and he said, "I got lost." And we're like, "What happened?" And he was like, "Yeah, I wanted to stop and to go to the toilet." And then I thought we had stopped, but we didn't. We just stopped at a, I don't know, traffic light or whatever. And so he jumped off the bus and the bus took off without him. He didn't know a word French. Like, it was in the middle of nowhere where no one spoke English and he only was wearing his underpants. But luckily it was summer. So at some point the police called the driver of the bus and, do you have a person on the bus who's called this and that? And said, yeah, we think so. Yeah, look if he's still there. And he wasn't. So they had to drive all the way back to collect him and drive. It was such a funny story. And I think it's not our own story, and I kind of feel bad that I shared the story of someone else, but it was what came to mind, and it was just like the fun. Imagine imagine someone knocks on your door and it's like a metal musician in underpants and you don't speak the language and he's like kind of asking for help.
Right. And you know what? I relate to that story because in 2022 we went to Wacken, and this guy, there was a line in the town to get to the actual festival. It was night.
It was like 2 a.m. or something.
I get off the car and there is a big line. All of a sudden, the line starts moving, and I am on the phone with my wife, talking on the phone, just telling her how the day was going or night. And as the cars were moving, my friend, this guy, just moved away, and all the cars disappear. And in less than a second, the streets were empty with darkness, and I had to walk like, I don't know, 2 miles, 3 miles,
10 minutes, to get maybe less, through the fields, through the Wacken fields at night, which were empty. And I called him, where are you? I thought you were going to follow me, right? And he told me, no, there's nobody here anymore. Okay, just continue walking. And I stopped. I skipped the line, and he never arrived. But it was really, really funny and terrifying at the same time.
So it was a similar story to that of your friends in that band. Very similar.
Yeah, and right, like, I mean, like, if you're in an environment that you're not used to, you kind of like don't know, like, am I safe here? Is it like, or am I like, what am I doing here? I mean, you can probably run across the fields in Wacken like all day and all night and at any time of the year, and nothing will happen other than meeting some cows.
Well, cows were asleep at that time. I can tell you that. Thank you very much, Britta, for your time, for joining us for this chat. We hope to meet you soon, either here in Madrid or in New York. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a great, great time.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed our chat. Take care. And thank you so much. See you soon, hopefully.
If you enjoyed this interview, please like it and share it with your friends. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and to follow Hiraes and buy and stream Dormant, which is coming up on the 26th of January, so one of the first albums of next year. But until then, stay metal!